Hello everyone, my name is Joelle and welcome to this 10-minute video for pain or tension in the inner thighs, so our adductor and groin muscles. You may want one block for today or one pillow. I'll be showing a couple variations with and without. And we'll start on our backs in reclined cobbler's pose, or Supta Baddha Konasana if you prefer the Sanskrit name, with the soles of the feet together and the knees wide. And you could rest your hands on the inner thighs just to bring a little consciousness to that area. And if you'd like, you can also place a block under the sacrum to lift the hips and deepen the stretch a little, like I'm showing on screen. So just close your eyes, start to breathe deeply. Unfortunately, groin and adductor pain is quite common. It's an area that can also be injured quite easily, so good for you for taking these 10 minutes today to take care of yourself. Remember to never push into pain and just go at your own pace. And then staying here, we can place the block under the right thigh and we'll start closing and opening the left knee. So having the block under the thigh gives us something to press into to help keep the right hip stable as we make the left inner thigh work a little bit here. So bringing the knee towards the ceiling, and then back down towards the ground. Just keep going here. Very good, and then we can move the block to place it under the left outer thigh now, and we'll press down into it as we start lifting and lowering the right knee this time, strengthening our right adductors. And if you're like me, you might notice that one side is easier than the other. That's quite common, and it's a good thing to be aware of in our own bodies. And now we can just bring both hands to the outside of the thighs to help both knees back up, and we're going to place that block between the inner thighs. And once you've got that there, squeeze as hard as you can into the block for a couple of seconds using the strength of the adductors, and then exhale to release that hold. Let's do that a couple of times, so squeezing as hard as we can, and then releasing a few moments later. So just keep going here. This should actually be quite tough. We're really giving it everything we've got, so using all of the strength of the inner thigh to press against the resistance of that block. Beautiful. And then we can put the block to the side. We'll lift the left foot up, hold the left thigh, hold behind the left thigh, and we'll start kicking that foot to the ceiling. So because our adductors are often a neglected muscle group for many of us, they can be all the more impacted when our hamstrings are tight, which we use a lot more, so it can help to open up those muscles as well a little bit. And you can keep the other foot flat on the floor or extend the leg. And let's just hold for a few more seconds here. You might climb the hands a little bit higher for this static stretch. And then we'll just switch sides. So now start kicking the right foot up, holding behind the thigh. Just little kicks here. The function of the adductors, by the way, is to bring the inner legs toward one another. So if we have tension or tightness in that area, that can often contribute to things like knee pain or back pain or hip pain. So it's great that we're working on them today, and feel free to come back to this sequence as often as you'd like. And now let's hold that static stretch, maybe climbing the hands a tiny bit higher up that leg. Great, and then we can bring the leg back down to the ground. We'll roll onto our left side. And you can either stay up on the elbow here, or you might choose to rest the head down on a block. So the right foot will come flat to the floor behind the left leg, and we'll just start lifting and lowering that left leg, keeping it straight. So go at your own pace here. These are pretty tough, so remember to breathe deeply. And then then we can start some little circles with that left leg in one direction. Keeping the foot flexed, keep the abs engaged, so it's just that leg that's moving, strengthening the inner thigh. And then we can reverse directions with our circle. Just keep going. Lovely, and then we can switch sides. You can just roll over if you'd like. I'm just going to move so that I continue to face you. So the left foot will come flat to the ground behind the other leg, either staying up on the elbow or resting the head on that block. And we'll lift and lower the right foot, keeping the leg straight. And as we remember to keep our abs engaged, we can move into those little circles with that leg. Imagine pressing the heel away from the body to straighten the leg. And you can switch directions with the circle. Beautiful. So we're going to come up to seating now. Take your time. And we'll repeat that cobbler's pose or butterfly pose from the beginning, either sitting directly on the mat or maybe lifting the hips up to place a block underneath, which might be a little bit more comfortable for some of us. We'll support ourselves with our left hand behind the body, place the right hand on the right knee, help press it towards the ground. So send the breath into that inner thigh, giving it a little bit more encouragement to open up and release. And then we can switch sides. So the right hand comes behind for support, and we can press our left hand against the left knee. So you control how much pressure goes into that knee. Again, you might find that one side is pretty different from the other. So just allow that inner thigh to let something go. Lovely. So now we can make our way to hands and knees, get rid of the block if you were using one, and we'll extend the right leg straight out to the side from the hip, staying on the inner side of that right foot, and we'll start rocking forwards and back. Now you should ideally feel this in the inner thigh towards the groin, so if you don't, feel free to shift around a little bit, maybe bring the left knee further out so you do start to feel that stretch in the inner thigh. And now release the rocking motion. Start curling the tailbone under as we squeeze the glutes and then lift it towards the sky. So keep going with that little curling motion. Imagine that all of these little moves are breaking up the tension, breaking up any blockages that may have been troubling you. Just allow them to be on their way. Great job. And then we can pull the right knee in underneath the right hip, and we'll straighten the left leg out to the side. So staying on the inner side of the left foot rather than trying to bring it flat to the floor. Just start rocking forwards and back. If you find a particularly juicy spot, you could also just hold the stretch there too. And then we can start with those pelvis curls, so squeezing the glutes and exhaling as the tailbone comes underneath, and then inhaling as we send the tailbone to the ceiling. Couple more little moves here. Wonderful. So we can bring the left knee back in now. And we'll bring our two big toes together, knees apart, as wide as you'd like. And we're going to rock our way side to side to come back towards child's pose. So you control how much you sway side to side. The further your knees are apart, the more you're likely to feel this in the inner thighs. And if you'd like, you could also just hold child's pose for a few moments here with the forehead on the mat or on the block, and just close the eyes. And now we'll roll back up. We can bring our knees apart just a little bit wider than the hips, and we'll start to take some circles with the hips in one direction. So at your own pace, as always. I'd also like to thank Erica Tudenhoft for commenting on my IT band pain video, suggesting a video on adductor pain. And I hope this helps. And you can reverse those circles. As always, I will link to some related videos that might also help you in the description box below this video. And if you have any requests for future sequences, please leave me a comment below. I'd be happy to help if I can. And when you're ready, we can come to sit back onto the heels, sweep the arms up with a deep breath in, and then bring the hands back down to prayer. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button to give me a little energy boost, and do subscribe for free videos every Monday and Thursday. And I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for practicing with me today. Namaste.